Okay, so calm down. This slide looks a little busy, I know, but you actually have already written this down. This is what I was calling the transformers in class. And the reason I like to call this transformers is because they transform, these rational numbers are transforming into other things, but they're still the same value. So a fraction will have the same value when it changes to a decimal, will have the same value when it changes to a percent. It just looks different. So again, you've already written this down in your notes. I just want to go over it in case you want to review it. Okay, so we have this yellow line on the outside, or the arrows. So this would be going in this direction, counterclockwise direction. And then we also have the blue that's going in our clockwise direction, just like the way the clock goes. So what I want to do is just work through a problem, and show you an example. So here we go. Let's use one of the common decimals that we see of, let's say, 0.2, or what we would call 2/10. So if I want to take this to a fraction, I say it, I write it, and I simplify it. Again, 0.2 isn't the proper way to say it. So I say it as 2/10, and then I simplify it. Well, I know they're even numbers, so I can divide out by a 2. So it's like your copycat. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your decimal to a fraction is 1/5. Now I want to take the fraction of 1/5 to a percent. So there's a couple of different things you can do here. I like to say, is this a nice denominator? And what I mean by that is, does this number, can it be multiplied by a number easily to get to 100? So some of you are seeing that 1/5, what could I multiply to get to 100? That would be 20. So then I'm going to multiply the top by 20. So now that it's 20 over 100, it turns into 20%. So that's a pretty nice one. But if it doesn't have a nice denominator, then let's say it was 1/6, then I would have to use my cross products, because I want it to turn into something over 100, or to be a percent, it has to be over 100. So this is what I'm looking for. So we use our cross multiply up. So I'm going to get 6 times p equals 100 times 1, which is just 100. So I divide both sides by 6, divide by 6. So my percent, off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and do the work over here. 6 goes into 10 one time, gives me 6, 40. 6 goes into 40 6 times, and gives me 36, and gives me a 4 again. Okay, so I can see that this is going to keep repeating. And this is going to give me the repeating. So it's going to be 16.6%. Okay, 16 and 6/10 repeating. But again, if you can, your goal is to get the denominator to be 100. Some of us still need some practice with this cross product. So the first thing I would look at is to see, is this a nice denominator? Can it be multiplied easily by a whole number to get to 100? And if it can, go ahead and find your percent that way. So let's just go ahead and finish off this counterclockwise. So now let's take this percent 20, and I want to change it to a decimal. So what you're doing is you're going to divide by 100. So 20 divided by 100 would end up giving us 0.2, or 2/10. The shortcut way is we move the decimal 2 places to the left. So, because remember, 20% is really 20 over 100. So if I was to do that top dog in the house, 20 divided by 100, it would give me 0.2, 2/10. But again, the shortcut way is to move the decimal 2 places to the left. Now, I like to use that alphabet because the P going to the D in the alphabet, I would be moving left. So that kind of reminds us which way to go. And then we're back to 20%, back to this 2/10 right here. Okay, so hopefully, again, that helps. This is, again, going in that counterclockwise direction. Let me go ahead and clear this. And then let me see if I can get a different color that might be a little brighter. Let's try the red, see how that works. All right, so we went counterclockwise. What I want to do now is go clockwise. So we'll use the same decimal, just so you can see that. So we have our 2/10. So to change my decimal to a percent, what I'm technically doing is multiplying by 100. So if I was to take 0.2 and multiply it by 100, and I'll go ahead and just show you that off to the side, just so you believe me. So that gives us 0, 0, 2. Remember, I have one number behind my decimal, so I need to have one number behind my decimal in my answer. So there I go, 20%. But if people like to identify a shortcut way, and that they have, so to change a decimal to a percent, I move my decimal 2 places to the right. And again, thinking about that number or the alphabet, the D would move to the right to get to the percent for the letter P. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and wherever there's an empty, I add my 0, so it's going to be 20%. Okay, now I'm down here and I want to change my percent to a fraction. Well, this one, we like this one because we can just kind of take away, I like to think about this being one of the zeros, this being one of the ones, or the one, and this being the 0. So 20% as a fraction is just 20 over 100. But what do you think I got to do with that? Yeah, I got to simplify that. So the top and the bottom can be divided by 20, and I get 1/5. Okay, and again, we're going clockwise. Okay, so 1/5 needs to turn into a decimal. So the easiest way for this, top dog in the house. And what we mean by that is, and again, notice I'm going in this clockwise directions. So I'm taking my 1/5 and I'm going to divide. So top dog means the person that's on top, the number technically, goes in the house, and then 5, the denominator, is at the door. So I'm going to add my decimal, put that there. Oh, 5 goes into 10. I'm pretending it's a 10. 2 times. It gives me 10, 0. So this fraction has gone back to the decimal. So I'm going fraction, back to my decimal of 2/10. So again, you just have to get really comfortable with changing and transforming your rational numbers between fractions, decimals, and percents. So that's what we've been practicing for the last few days. Ask me for any questions or help, but I really hope that this helps you in the future, and definitely on the test, but years from now, I hope you can remember this. Take care.